We are now joined live by Zoom by Colonel retired Miri, Senior Fellow at the International Institute for Counterterrorism at Reichman University. Thank you, and good to see you as always.
Always a pleasure to be here, and always interesting to hear about us being the lesser of evils, meaning for a change, what the Druze essentially said is that we're better than the jihadis. Yay. Okay. I'm not sure that I really enjoy that one.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, with the, the Druze people have a very, very interesting, cultural background and a very interesting, history, very, loyal. Their creed is basically loyal to the land that where they live. So interesting that the government saying that they would make efforts should it get to a point where they feel threatened to absorb them. Is that realistic? And could the Druze community here in Israel also potentially help relocate this community?
I actually don't think so. I think that this really is the statement of a specific village that happens to be in very close proximity to Israel. But even the 4 Druze villages that are on the Golan Heights, where Israel applied Israeli law in 1981, okay, that's 40 some years ago, 80% of those villagers on Israel's Golan Heights still have not taken Israeli citizenship. They're Israeli residents. They have everything that goes with it. So to immediately say that about what are essentially millions of Druze inside Syria, I don't see that happening. It's just a few villages, and specifically this one, Khader, which is so near the Israeli border. And as I said, it's about our being the lesser of evils between the jihadists that tried to kill, butcher, murder them during the war inside Syria, and they say at least Israel would protect us.
And what do you make of the rebel leader? We've all been kind of, voicing different opinions on, this new, temporary government until the interim president, moves on. What, is there a real fear, in your opinion, of these rebels not being so peaceful?
So, Emily, I've been looking at this for so many years, and I'm going to say that, I hope for the Syrian people that all these vastly different rebels, we say rebels, but they are thousands of different subgroups that have come together. There's like a conglomerate on the Golan Heights opposite Israel in what we call southern Syria. There's a different conglomerate of different rebels that have been up in northwestern Syria. There are lots of different groups, and right now they all know what they are against. They are against what Bashar al-Assad was, that horrific dictatorship, just the pictures that came out of that horrible, horrible prison next to Damascus give you an idea of why they're all against Bashar al-Assad, who was supported by Hezbollah and the Iranians. But you know what, Emily? I don't know that they all know what they're for. And when I look at El-Julani, who has rebranded himself, not in the last 2 weeks, he's been rebranding himself for the last 4 or 5 years, showing himself as being not what he was, which was sent by al-Baghdadi before al-Baghdadi established the Islamic State. He was somebody who came out of Al-Qaeda, and there are the pictures of him showing the evolution. I like to call it the evolution of the beard, but it's also the evolution of the head covering or taking a head covering off. There are additional pictures that have come out over the last 2 weeks, and one of the ones that to me is major is the one that shows him standing together with the heads of the other rebel groups, because there's lots of rebel groups. And I have to tell you, it doesn't make me feel comfortable. Those are Islamist groups, some of them very jihadi. As soon as you say jihadi, that's not good news for Israel. It's not good news for the West. It's not good news for Israel, and they border us. So what I want to say is I hope that they're not about us. That would be wonderful, but we need to be prepared. After October 7th, 2023, we're not going to take chances.
Right.
And part of that is actions that Israel is taking now in the Golan.
Right. Also, with the airstrikes against really, infrastructure, so it doesn't end up in the wrong hands. They're crying foul on the Israeli airstrikes that are continuing, but obviously, officials with the IDF say that it is justified.
It's not just justified in that sense. And I'd really give out the message to the world. Do any of you in the world want chemical weapons, biological weapons, different types of missiles, different types of capabilities to fall into the hands of the rebels? Do any of you around the world want to find a dirty biological or chemical bomb in the French metro or in the New York subway for that matter? You still have lots of different Islamist groups inside Syria that are not only Arabic speaking Sunni former Syrians, because Syria has not really been a country for 13 years. You have outside forces that came in from Russia, from Chechnya, from different European places, and you don't want to find these things somewhere in Europe. And what Israel has been attacking is so that when Syria puts itself together, it shouldn't be about those weapons where all of the different groups are trying to get their hands on those weapons. We've been destroying them. I think that that is a better opening spot for Syria than what happened in other countries, because otherwise they're all going to be competing with each other for the weapons, fighting against each other. Perhaps instead they'll be focused on building their own country, building an economy, making a better future for themselves.
All right. Thank you very much for your eloquent explanation, as always, Colonel Retired Miri Eisen.
Thank you so much.